So as you all know, you all came here around some of your organizing efforts, and so another key piece of this is not only how we can help the students and the next generation move forward, but how they can also get involved in the diaspora community and communicate with Vietnamese from all over the world the message and their story, because I think that's the most powerful thing, is to communicate the best practices that they have built up to other Vietnamese, not only here but abroad, so that they can follow by example. And so I'm going to start off by asking Cindy Dinh, who is one of our younger panelists, about your work. What led you to do this work in the community?
Thank you, Viet. And thank you to the White House Initiative on Asian American and Pacific Islanders for having us today. It's a pleasure to be with you and to join so many friends, colleagues, and partners in welcoming some of our nation's best human rights champions to this table. My name is Cindy Dinh. I'm 23 years old and from Houston, Texas. I was born and raised there and a recent graduate of Rush University. I'm the daughter of Vietnamese refugees who instilled in me the values of hard work, public service, and appreciation for democracy. And it was through learning the Vietnamese language that I was able to use that to connect not only the second generation to the first generation, but also to help the community go into mainstream American society. In 2008, I was a panelist at the United Nations. I was speaking on the UN Declaration of Human Rights document, wishing to spread that message around the world, and also spoke about Father Nguyen Van Ly. He's a priest in Vietnam who's been imprisoned for speaking on pro-democratic ideas. And there's actually a famous picture around here where he's at his trial and he's kneeling down and there's a guard behind him muffling his mouth. He was denied the right to speak at his own trial, and he has suffered 2 strokes while in prison. So it was necessary to have some kind of international pressure to release him and at least allow him to have his medical needs. Because of this, I helped arrange a meeting with Senator John Cornyn from Texas. We met with a dozen different religious clerics and community leaders from Houston to talk about the Vietnam Human Rights Act and the religious abuses in Vietnam. As a result, he later wrote a letter to Secretary of State Hillary Clinton asking for the release of Father Ly, as well as sponsored the Vietnam Human Rights Sanctions Act, which is currently in Congress and under review in a committee. It was this moment that made me realize democracy was real, as it is today in this room. So I applaud the Obama administration for allowing us to come here today to begin a much-needed dialogue. But most importantly, in the words of President John F. Kennedy, in the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the right to defend freedom at its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. So today, as Americans, we cannot and must not take our freedom of expression for granted, nor can we shirk from the responsibility that has fallen upon us. We are the voice of the voiceless. So I ask the administration to really connect with us in a dialogue to release some of the prisoners of conscience who've spoken out on freedom of expression and freedom of assembly ideas in Vietnam.
Thank you so much, Cindy. It brings back to mind some of the days when I was in law school and we were studying the Constitution, and I had to recently study for an exam where I had to read the Constitution again, and it's quite remarkable. I think it's a remarkable document, actually, that once in a while you can take out the Constitution and read the first 10 amendments, and it's a pretty powerful thing. I encourage you to do that, so thank you so much for your words. Billy, I wanted you to kind of come up next. What do you think have been kind of the best models of engagement with young Vietnamese leaders and some of the Vietnamese student associations out there? And what have been the best practices in terms of Vietnamese students engaging with the government?
Dạ vâng, từ miền Nam California, Billy xin gửi lời chào đến quý vị có mặt ngày hôm nay. From Southern California, I would like to say hello to everyone who's present today. Once again, I'm Billy Lee. I'm the president of the Union of Vietnamese Student Associations of Southern California, which represents the university in Southern California. Today, what I think one of the best models of engagement is having youth working side by side with communities, leaders throughout the world. When we have youth speaking eloquent English combined with the elders who know so much about human rights situations and grasp that knowledge, when together we come together and work, we can do so much. You know, they are better off working together for the common voice. This effort is everybody's effort for the same common goal, same common voice. Working together like this, we would like to know how youth like us can establish a way to, like Cindy said, further dialogue with the administrations between the House as well as the Vietnamese American community. And the second question is to recommend students how to get them involved even. You know, in order to energize students, we need to bring it home, back home here in the United States, to relate to this country, doing workshops, etc., on human rights or any international issues. So they need to be open-minded and collaborate with organizations and work with everyone throughout the world. And that's how we network. Travel the world if we have to. Recently, I traveled to Manila, Philippines. There, I speak with many student members from different nations, 14 nations around the world. Here, we learn the different movements that are going on throughout the world. And so today, they need to build a relationship with other Vietnamese youth around the world. And in Vietnam, to express their concern and to tell them that they are not alone in this movement. The struggle for human rights in Vietnam is a Vietnamese struggle. But however, as an American citizen like others, I believe that it is also important to know the dedication of the administration in that human rights are considered as an integral part of the U.S. and Vietnam relationship. So with that, I would like to look forward to hearing from the administration one day.
Thank you so much, Billy. I think a lot of the work of the Vietnamese students, both here in the DC metropolitan area and in the West Coast, has been really phenomenal, actually, to see the students, I think, taking the VSA model, which is often, you know, during my college days, we just sat around, we tried to make pho, and we didn't make it very well because we didn't have enough star anise in it. But but I think it's definitely progressed since my days as a young college student working in Vietnamese students associations and all the different tools that you have before you to really connect with Vietnamese students all over the country and all over the world. I think it definitely augments your work and makes it that much more powerful.